Gio, mom, how many times do I have to tell you? Send my snacks to my room early in the morning. Gio's voice rang through the hallway, sharp and dripping with annoyance. Mrs. Park sighed, adjusting her robe as she walked toward her daughter's room. Mrs. Park, I already told Ryan to bring them out, Gio. Didn't you come yet? Gio, if she had, would I be complaining to you right now? She snapped, crossing her arms over her chest. Mrs. Park's face hardened. She turned toward the stairs and shouted at the top of her lungs, Mrs. Park, Ryan, hey Ryan. Mrs. Park rolled her eyes in frustration. Everything was Ryan took forever. The girl could not seem to do anything quickly. She had to be reminded of every single step like a toddler running to work. A few moments later, the sound of hurried, clumsy footsteps echoed from the staircase. You appeared breathless and disheveled. There was a mess, white flour smeared across your cheeks and forehead, and your hands were coated in a thick layer of dough. You looked more like a child who had been playing in the kitchen than a maid. Why, yes, auntie, you asked. Your voice soft and innocent, Mrs. Park. What is wrong with you, Wine? I told you to take your snacks up an hour ago. She scolded. Your big, earnest eyes filled with a mix of confusion and guilt. Wine, I, I just finished making them, auntie. I was just about to bring them up. I wanted them to be perfect. Mrs. Park rolled her eyes in frustration. Mrs. Park, it takes you this much time. Zeus classes are about to start. Go and get them now. Why, I'm going right now. You sir, turning around and sprinting back downstairs as fast as your legs could carry you. Geo was relieved, a look of pure disdain on her face. Geo, Mom, I've told you so many times, stop letting her do the work. She can't do a single thing right. She is useless. Mrs. Park leaned against the door frame, a cold, calculating look in her eyes. Mrs. Park, useless or not, where else am I going to find a maid who works for free? We keep her fed and that's more than enough payment for someone like her. A few minutes later, you returned balancing a tray with extra care. You set it down on the table with a clumsy hand, nearly spilling the juice. Gio, iron my skirt, she ordered without even looking at you. Her voice flat, fine, okay, you replied with a small submissive smile. As you moved around the room, stuffing these books into her bag and seeking her reflection, you stood by the ironing board. You moved the heavy iron carefully over the fabric of the school uniform. You and Gio are same age, but both worlds were oceans apart. While Gio was preparing to graduate from high school, you didn't even know how to read your own name. Well, hey, Yoni, you said holding over the native lace skirt. You didn't leave the room, instead you stood there, watching Gio with a look of pure wonder. Gio put it down, she muttered. You placed the skirt on the bed but continued to stare. Why, school must be so much fun, right, Yoni? You asked, your voice was full. Geo pauses, smile playing on her lips. Geo, yeah, I guess. At least there are plenty of hot boys there. You tilted your head, your brow frowned in genuine confusion. Why, hot boys? What does this mean, Uni? Are they on fire? Geo groaned, rolling her eyes toward the ceiling. Geo, don't start with those stupid questions. The light in your eyes dimmed instantly. You bit your lip. Nodding slowly, while okay. In the quiet corner of the garden, you stood with the watering can, your heart still heavy from the morning harsh words, but suddenly your eyes widened. and a tiny spark of joy flickered in your gaze. When a bird, he whispered, your voice low and slightly halting, the words catching in your throat as they often did. It boomed. You reach out, your fingers trembling slightly as you touch the delicate petals of a rose. But why are you pink? You asked the flower, your brow frowning in a pout. I wanted a white one because of the years of isolation and the crushing mental pressure from relatives. Your mind moved at a different pace, gentle, slow, and like a child lost in a world of adults. You treated the watering can, but your wandering mind missed the mark. Instead of the roots, the water splashed onto the dry earth, sending a spray of wood mud across your dress and arms. Instead of crying, you let out a small bubbly whine. Oof, I did it backwards again, but you left a light the moment a sharp voice echoed from inside the house. And a furrow in your chest, when the snacks you gasped, your eyes rounding in fear. I forgot the afternoon snacks. You dropped the watering can and scrambled toward the kitchen. As you quickly began preparing the chicken, your hands moving fast as they could. Just as you were setting the ingredients, the doorbell rang, a loud demanding sound that made you jump. Running to the door, you pulled it open to find your uncle and Gio. One, welcome. Welcome home, uncle. Welcome home, Gio. You chat, bowing low, trying to hide the mud stains on your clothes. They ignored you, walking past as if you were a piece of furniture. You settled onto the sofa, the air in the room turning heavy with tension. Mrs. Park, so how was class? She asked, leaning in. Gio, we have our final exams next month, she said, her voice filled with a desperate kind of ambition. All my friends are going to UNC University. I'm going there too. Mr. Park's face darkened instantly. Mr. Park, Gio, a place like that, the tuition is astronomical. It's beyond our reach. Mrs. Park, we could sell everything we own and still not have enough for a single semester, she added, her voice sharp with stress. Gio, I don't care, she screamed, standing up, her face flushed with rage. I want to go there. I don't care about anything else, Mr. Park, but I don't have that kind of money, he shouted back. Gio, I don't care. At that moment, you emerged from the kitchen, carefully balancing a tray with hot soup. The tension in the room was a physical weight, but you tried to do your job. As you neared the table, Gio, in a fit of blind rage, rushed out. She shoved the tray away with her all strength. Gio, get this away from me, she yelled. The tray tilted and sliding her support directly onto your bare hand. You gasped, the tray clattering to the floor with a deafening bang. The liquid was boiling, searing through your skin instantly. Mr. Park, you can't even do this right, he hissed, his anger at his daughter turning toward the easiest target. You don't even know how to stand in the right place. Without a word of concern of your injury, he stormed out of the room. Mrs. Park stood up, looking at the mess on the floor with disgust. Mrs. Park, clean it up now. She followed her husband, leaving you alone in the middle of the room. Your hand was shaking uncontrollably. You looked on and saw your skin turning a frightening shade of red, the heat throbbing in time with your heartbeat. Tears welled up in your eyes and began to track through the mud on your cheeks. With your injured hand, you reached off a cloth and began to scrub the floor, whispering through tears, "Wine, it burns so much." Across the city, in the sprawling June mansion, the air was thick with a different kind of tension. It wasn't the silence of neglected, but the frantic energy of fear. Mrs. Day, Joy, At the table, Juha, the place must be decorated perfectly. Ruka handles the dishes with precision. Mrs. Day, the head housekeeper, barked out orders like a general on a battlefield. Yes, ma'am, the maids replied in unison, their movements synchronized and terrified Mrs. Day. Yona, is every room spotless? She asked, her eyes scanning the hallway for even a speck of dust. Yona, yes, Mrs. Day, everything is pristine. Yona replied, bowing her head. Mrs. Day, Kai, what about the young master's special dish? Is it ready? Kai, ready and waiting, ma'am, he answered, wiping a bead of sweat from his forehead. Mrs. Day, it's better be, she muttered, nothing, and I mean nothing can go wrong tonight. A few moments later, Mr. and Mrs. Dion took their seats at the dining table. The luxury of the room was suffocating. Mrs. Day, sir, ma'am, we have prepared all of your favorites tonight, she said, gesturing to the staff. Mrs. Dion, serve us. Mrs. Dion commanded, her voice again yet cold. As the plates were being laid out, the heavy sound of boots echoed against the marble floor. Jungkookff walked in. He didn't greet anyone. He simply pulled out a chair and sat down. His presence instantly draining the warmth from the room. Mrs. Day, shall I serve you, young master? She asked tentatively. Jungkookff, do it, he replied, his voice a low, dangerous tremble. As the food was placed before him, Mr. Jeon looked at his son over the rim of his wine glass. Mr. Jeon saw a really keen mark. Just like that, Jungkookff didn't look up. Jungkookff, he was seeking information. Why would not I kill him? Mr. Jeon, you are going to be the king of this organization one day, Jungkookff. His father reminded him. His tone stern. You need to think before you act. You can't just eliminate everyone on a whim. Jungkookff, I did what was necessary, he said, his eyes cold and unwavering. In my word, that is the only right way. Mrs. Jeon, baby, she intervened, her voice softening but still carrying on edge. You are grown now, you should watch your tone. Don't be so rude to your father. Jungkook's jaw tightened. He dropped his fork with a sharp clink. Jungkookff, Mom, I'm not a child. Stop calling me baby. It's pathetic. He took a bite of the steak, chewed for a second, and then immediately spat it back onto the plate. The entire room went dead silent. The maid froze mid-motion. Jungkookff, what is this, Mrs. Day? He hissed, his eyes flashing with fury. Mrs. Day's heart skipped a beat. She rushed forward, bowing frantically. Mrs. Day, is something wrong, you master? Jungkookff, something wrong? He stood up, the chair creasing against the floor. This is garbage. It's disgusting. The food in this house is getting worse every single day. Do you think I'm some dog you can feed carbs too? Without waiting for an answer, he stormed out of the dining hall, his anger vibrating through the walls. Mrs. Jeon sighed, looking at the head housekeeper. Mrs. Jeon, Day, what is going on? You have a dozen maids and not one of them can cook a meal that satisfies my son. He left without eating a single bite. Mrs. Day, I'm so sorry, ma'am. Mrs. Day said, her voice trembling. I will have something new sent to his room immediately. Mr. John, make it right, he added, his voice like ice, or find someone who can. We won't tolerate incompetence in this house. Mrs. J, yes, sir, I understood, she whispered, moving until they left the room. The moment the door closed, Mrs. J emerged into the kitchen, her face red with rage. Mrs. J, Juha, get the table ready. It has to be perfect this time, she screamed. Juha, yes, Mrs. J, right away. She scrambled toward the stove. Mrs. J, I don't understand how you all can be so stupid, she hissed at the staff. You know what happens when you make a mistake. Do you want to end up like Yoon? Do you remember what happened to her when she failed? mention of the name Yoon sent a chill through the kitchen. Kai nodded quickly, his hand shaking. Kai, we remember, Mrs. J. We're sorry, we will be careful. Mrs. J, you better be, she snapped. Now get these to the young master's room. I have other things to deal with. A few days has passed in the same cycle of labor and sadness. He was scrubbing the floor when the loud chime of the doorbell echoed. You rushed to open it, finding your uncle and Aunt Gio standing there, their arms overflowing with expensive shopping bags. Gio was beaming, putting out various items with a triumphant look on her face. Mrs. Parkwine, get us some water now, she commanded, dropping her bag onto the sofa. You hurried to the kitchen and returned with cold water for everyone. As you set the glasses down, Gio reached one of her bags and pulled out a dress. It was soft, colorful, and most importantly, branded new. Gio, here, wine. I bought this for you, Gio said, a fake sweetness coating her voice. Your eyes sparkled with a rare, brilliant joy. Since you was a child, you had only ever worn Gio's hand-me-down clothes that were too big, faded, or torn. This was the first time anyone had given you something that belongs only to you. Wine, really, you whispered. Your voice trembling with excitement. For me? Gio, yes, go and put it on, she replied. Dad is going to drop you off somewhere today. Your smile fluttered slightly. Wine, drop me off? Where? Mr. Parkway, your uncle began, not meeting your eyes. Our expenses have become too high, Wine. We can't afford to keep you here anymore. We found a place for you where you will have plenty to eat and a roof over your head. Wine, won't I be able to come back? You asked, your lips quivering. Mr. and Mrs. Park exchanged a quick, cold glance. Mr. Park, of course you can. Your uncle right effortlessly. Now go, hurry up and get ready. The car will be here any minute. Wine, a car? I get to ride in a car? Your child wonder quickly masked your fear. They must be very rich people. You clapped your hands and ran to your tiny room to pack your few belongings, your heart racing with the thought of a new adventure. Mrs. Park, finally she is gone, she sighed, leaning back. It's been years to feeding that useless girl. Now we have to find a new maid. Mr. Park, we will find one, he said, a gritty smirk on his face. But look at the bright side. With the money we got from selling her, we can finally sell this old place and buy that luxury apartment we wanted. Gio, and I can go to the best university, she added, scrolling through her phone. She will never know the truth anyway. Mrs. Park, she is too stupid to understand, she rapped. She doesn't even know that this house actually belongs to her parents. We have just been living off her inheritance all this time. Sending her as a maid was the smartest thing we ever did. We got paid to get rid of a burden. Outside, his stick back sedan pulled into the driveway. Mrs. Park, Wine, are you done yet? You are taking forever, she shouted. You came running down the stairs, scratching a small bag. You saw a man in a sharp black suit standing by the door, his face expressionless and cold. Wine, Uncle, let's go. You said to the driver, your voice full of innocence. Mr. Park, don't cause any trouble there, Wine. Do exactly what they tell you, he said. One last subtle piece of advice. Wine, okay, Uncle. The driver opened the door for you. You climbed into the backseat, gasping at the neater interior. As the car pulled away, you pressed your face against the glass, watching the trees and buildings bear past. It was the most beautiful thing you had ever seen. Wine, how long it will take, Uncle? You asked the driver. The man didn't answer. He didn't even blink. You pouted, leaning back into the soft seat. Maybe he can't speak, you thought to yourself. You turned your attention back to the window, watching the city lights begin to grow as evening approached. Finally, the car slowed down as it approached the massive iron gate. The gate swung open slowly, revealing the driveway lined with majestic statues and perfectly manicured gardens. In the center stood a mansion so grand, so imposing that your jaws dropped. When you breathed, your eyes wide with wonder. It's the Cinderella place. To you, it looked like the fairy tales your mother used to whisper to you at night.